And what well-to-do town would be without an elegant hotel like this one?
So, here we are at the Royal Hotel, Ken. But the road wasn't always so close, was it?
No, it wasn't. When the Royal Hotel was originally built, it had its own private grounds going up to several hundred yards.
Well, it's a bit noisy out here, isn't it? So shall we go inside?
Okay, right after you.
Ashby residents of today are familiar with the Royal as a place where they might attend functions, such as an annual society dinner, a wedding reception or a funeral, a Christmas celebration or a family reunion. But the hotel has a long history, going back to 1827.
Well, it's still pretty grand, isn't it? You can just imagine the ladies and gentlemen of the day sweeping down these magnificent staircases.
Well, I don't need too much imagination. When I come here of an evening, I think, yes, there am I in my evening dress, and there's my wife just coming down from a boudoir, long dress, flowing, and then it's back to normality, off to the bar.
So, what's the story behind this hotel?
Well, you remember we visited Rawdon Terrace and Ivanhoe Terrace, and they were boarding houses which would only take a few people coming to Ashby. And although the two premier inns of the town did have a makeover in the 1820s, what the town still lacked was a prestigious hotel. And Edward Mamet, who we've heard of before, along with other people with, shall we say, vested interests, got together, had a meeting. All this is well reported, and the County Record Office have the original minutes starting in about the 1826 period. And Mamet and others decided that they would build a hotel through subscription, £500 shares. Well, fairly quickly they managed to raise £5,000, and of course the next stage was to put it out to tender, which they did, and two local contractors, Mark Vinrace and Mark King, both put in. Now, because it was such a huge project, I think Mamet and others thought perhaps, why don't they do it together? It'd be a bit safer. Unfortunately, Mark Vinrace couldn't raise the capital, and so Mark King took it over by himself, and it took at least a year from start to finish. But by May of 1827, out into the local newspapers went the tender for the first manager. And you can still see it in the local press if you go and have a look at it in the County Record Office, and it says, manager needed for the new Hastings Hotel in Ashby Zouch.
So, this wasn't always called the Royal Hotel then?
No, when it opened officially in December 1828, Mamet had a huge ball and dinner, and there it was, the Hastings Hotel, obviously named after the Marquis of Hastings, who had the misfortune to die just before, so he never knew. But within a few years, even though it had been successful, for some reason it's changed its name. From the Hastings Hotel, we know it was still that in December 1835, and thanks to the researches of a lady who was doing some work on the hotels in the area, she found a piece in the newspaper which called it the Royal Hotel in May 1836. So somewhere in between the end of 1835 and the middle part of 1836, it changed from the Hastings to the Royal. Why? We still don't know, because clearly it was nothing to do with the new monarch, because that was the next year when Victoria became Queen. We don't know who visited. We thought it used to be Queen Heyday, but that wasn't until 1841. So, a mystery, still waiting to be solved. But either way, Hastings or the Royal, it's still a lovely place, isn't it?
Yes.
Anyway, I've got something to show you, which we mentioned previously, but you haven't actually seen it. Come with me into the garden.
You'll remember that the mineral waters for the baths were not found in Ashby itself, but had to be brought from the Moira Spring 4 miles away. So obviously a large storage vessel would have been needed, and that's what we're in search of now.
Well, here we are in the well-manicured grounds of the Royal Hotel, 2011. If you only went back, say, 40, 50 years, you would be standing, probably waiting to serve or be served at, because this was a tennis court, lovely manicured tennis court. But I didn't bring you here just to show you where a tennis court once was. You could be standing on a slightly dangerous area, because under here is the huge brick reservoir, which held at its height or at its depth 2,000 worths of baths, or 4,000 hogsheads. You know what that is. So unfortunately we have to go back quite a long way and use our imagination, but I've got in the booklet here a 1841 quote from a Dr. Granville, who wrote up a lot of the spa towns. And this is him talking about the Royal and its grounds. So again, you'll have to suspend disbelief. 1841. I directed my course to this place, and I am very much obliged to you for having fixed on so beautiful and comfortable a resting place. The hotel is surrounded by grounds well laid out, with walks in all directions, and the baths are not contiguous but adjoining. He goes on about the baths, and then he goes on about the hotel itself. My apartments are in the corner of the house, quiet and cheerful, and so comfortable am I that I shall certainly prolong my stay here. It's a very good advertisement, isn't it? The house is full all summer and winter, but not in the autumn, strangely. Residents in it may dine at the public table and take all their repasts in that way, for 5 shillings per day, we wish, besides paying for the servants, and half a guinea a week for a bedroom, together with from 10 to 15 shillings more for a private sitting room if required. And he ends by saying, this hotel consists of a handsome hall, which is where we were, with parlours, a gallery above, round the house with rooms, and an upper story of the same kind. Excellent beds, and I was as comfortable as at my own home, without the trouble of keeping order. So if I was the Royal Hotel today, I would pin that up in large letters on the front door.
That was wonderful.
It is a good advert for it.
Yes.
But of course, this is not the only area which has changed. The front had changed as well over the years. Actually, I think one of the reasons that Dr. Granville was so impressed with the hotel was that other things were on offer by the middle of the 1830s. In the late 1820s, a little theatre was set up in Bath Street, the Theatre Royal, and every summer season you had some very good plays, Shakespeare and others being put on. Also a race course in 1837 came along, and for 10 years the racing types came and stayed at the hotel. This was set just near the modern Leicester Road, in between Upper Paddington Road and Leicester Road. So you've got a theatre, you've got a race course, the assembly rooms tended to do better business.
So things were looking up for the spa town.
They certainly were in the 1830s and into the 1840s.